Hello, I'm Nick Cotter, co-founder and CEO of Cotter Agritech. Today we're going to delve deep into the Cotter Crate sheep handler and all the innovative features that make it probably the best manual sheep handler in Ireland and the UK. So the first thing to talk about is build quality. The crate is made from stainless steel, so it won't rust. The plastic panels used are UV stabilised, so they won't fade over time and they won't crack. Aluminium tread plate is used on the floors, and in the on-ramp and the off-ramp we've also added rubber conveyor belting on top so that the animals move through the machine confidently. In addition to this, all the key moving parts are bushed, so you won't suffer from wear and tear. We're so confident in the quality of the product we produce that we back it with a 10-year warranty. This confidence comes from our R&D program, where with a single prototype we put through over 60,000 animals, equivalent to 10 years of use on a typical Irish or UK sheep farm, and we did this without issue. So the first piece of the crate we're going to look at is the on-ramp, which has 5 notable features. So the first piece are the connection points for hooking up your hurdles. So these are adjustable up and down at different heights, and they can also move entirely left to right. So no matter how even or uneven the ground is, you can always lug up your hurdle. And also different hurdles will have different heights in terms of their overall height, but also where the lugs are positioned. So this means you can always hook up your hurdles. Next is the movable sides on the on-ramp. They are completely independent of the floor and can be slotted into different positions, offering unparalleled versatility to handle different sizes of animals. This is the max width. This is left side in. This is the narrowest setting. This is right side in. Next to talk about is the slope of the on-ramp. It's a bit steeper than other sheep handlers, but this actually aids flow through the system as it utilises sheep's natural instinct to climb. So they love moving through it. And there's rubber chevron belting fitted to the floor, so they move through it confidently without hesitation. Now let's talk about the anti-backing flaps, which come as standard with a Cotter Crate. There are 2 sets of anti-backing flaps that come with the on-ramp. There's 2 of them at the entrance and 2 of them about 2/3 up. They work very well. If necessary to aid flow, an anti-backing flap can be folded up. There is adjustment provided on the anti-backing flaps that they can be moved up and down depending on your breed of sheep. And this can be done on the fly with just 2 wing nuts at the back of the plate. Finally, the mobility of the on-ramp. It's the easiest element to move because it's fitted with 4 wheels, so it requires very, very little effort. So now let's move on to the crate. First thing I'd like to talk about is the entry and exit gates. So the entry gate here controls the flow of animals into the unit and is very, very nicely weighted, so it's easy to open and close. Now, unique to the Cotter Crate is we also have an exit gate. So what this does is it prevents animals running straight through the system. And this is actually unique to the Cotter Crate. So if I'm here working solo and I have to come back to the on-ramp to encourage an animal into it, I don't have to run all the way back in a race to the handler to actually go and catch them, because that gate prevents them from running straight through the machine. And the gate can be opened so that in the event where, say, you're handling before weaning time with ewes and lambs running through the system at the same time, and you're only doing jobs to the lambs, we can actually open this gate and let the ewes run straight out, and then when we meet a lamb we can clamp them and do whatever jobs we need to do. So on the dagging door, this is always fitted to the side from where the animal enters. So if I push in here and catch my imaginary sheep, what I can do is pull the latch and fold it down. And this provides really good access to the rear of the animal for doing my dagging. Now practically when I'm doing it, this top section, I actually pull this off so I can get in nice and close for when I'm doing this particular job. And when you're finished, we just throw it back up and it'll just latch itself. And now we're ready for the next animal. Next I want to show you this bar here that we have. And the purpose of this is if you've got a weigh head, any of the brands, you can stick on your bracket, and that's your place there so that you can see the weight of the animals. If you're doing recording with any mobile phone apps, we can also put a phone holder here. Now the bar can be adjusted up and down if required. We just loosen these stars and we can go higher here if needs be. So a really simple adjustment that can be done on the fly. Now let's look at the weighing setup. Unlike other handlers that put load bars at the bottom, ours are in the mid frame. So this keeps them out of the water and the muck for better longevity. It also means the ground does not need to be level, and it also makes for a more accurate weight because this is just weighing the top portion of the crate. The operator is not included in the weight. So you don't have to tear yourself out and say, for example, if there are different operators using the system on the same day, you don't have to tear them out for different weights of operators. The setup of the weighing being in the mid frame also means that we can attach things like the 2 ramps on the in and out. We can attach hurdles without it actually affecting the weight. We are just weighing the top frame here, which is this top frame plus the animal. So it makes for really accurate weighing. Another part of the weigh system that's really worth noting are the cables. These are fully replaceable cable ends because of how we've designed this system. So what often happens with a lot of handlers, and it's happened to us here on our home farm with equipment, is after a day weighing sheep, we forget to cap the load cell. And someone power washes down the system, or else it's during winter time and condensation gets in here. And what can happen is the cable gets damaged. Now on a lot of other systems, the cable is directly wired to the load cell. So you end up having to replace the entire weigh system. Here, we've made it so that if you ever end up with this problem, you only have to replace the cable. So if you do end up damaging one or indeed both of your cables, this is how you'd replace it. There's 4 bolts here that hold on the cover. Now I just have one on for demonstration purposes, so I'm just going to loosen this. Put that down there. And this just folds away down. And these are our 2 cables. So whichever one is damaged, we'll just unthread it out of the box and pull it out. And all we do then is cut off our 2 cable ties, put in our new cable, and we're ready to go again. So a very simple fix, just go onto the website, order a replacement cable, and you're away again. The load cables are standard issue, so they will work with the vast majority of weigh heads that are supplied on the market. So True Test, Gallagher, Shearwell, all the brands that you can think of. The Cotter Crate is the most versatile sheep handler on the market, being capable of handling 100% of your animals so that you can use it 100% of the year. How this is achieved is by making a few quick adjustments on the fly so that it can accommodate different sizes of animals. So the first adjustment is the height of this sidewall. So this is the standard height. It's good for weaned or fat lambs or ewes up to about 80 kilos. Now if we're earlier in the year, we can take this off, and now we're down to the lower height, which is really useful for when you're doing lambs at their very first handling, vaccination, those kind of jobs. And then we have a higher side here again, the XL side. This again comes as standard with the Cotter Crate, and this is really useful for those really big ewes or rams that you have on the farm. And the XL side adds 4 inches or about 100 millimeters onto the overall height. So it's perfect for those really big animals. So the width of the unit is another adjustment you can make. There's a narrow setting and then a wide setting. And how it's adjusted is this back wall here. Little wing nuts on either side of the back wall. So we just loosen these and pull up the shoulder, and do that for the front one as well. Just keep loosening until it comes free. And do the same for the other side. So once loosened, pull it back, and now we have a super wide machine. And just tighten these again back up so it stays in position. So the last adjustment we make is in relation to when the floor trips. So what we do with the Cotter Crate is we push in, the floor trips at a certain point, and then the animal is caught. We generally think of 3 settings here. We've got big for ewes and rams. We can then loosen this and move it to the middle, and that generally suits for fat or weaned lambs. And our last position is small, which is really, really suitable for those small lambs at their first handling. Now let's look at some additional items that are exclusive to the Cotter Crate and come with it as standard. Let's look at the extension platform. This allows you to work on your own because you can now walk to the on-ramp to encourage an animal into the machine and walk to the clamp without turning yourself upside down. Next, we really got to talk about something that is game changing and makes a huge difference when using the Cotter Crate versus other handlers, and that is the dose holder. This takes the drench gun off your back, it gives you a place to put it, and we can put up to 4 different drenches or injectables on this. The holder for the dose guns or your injectors is rubber lined, so any tips on your dosing guns or your needle will not get damaged, which is really handy. It also comes with 2 trays, one for your spray cans, so they're held in position, and a little tray here for things like taggers or needles, whatever may have you. The dose holder is endlessly adjustable in so many different ways. For height, we can loosen the star here and we can pull it up. I'm a short lad, so the lower height is fine, but for really tall people, we can adjust that up as well. We can also change the angle of it, and we can pull it in and out so we can get it in exactly the position that we want it and exactly how close we'd like it to be. Another feature that comes as standard with the Cotter Crate is an EID shelf. So you can put your stick reader here, nice and close to where the animal will be passing, put your stick in automatic read, and the distance is close enough that 9 times out of 10 it will pick up the tag automatically, acting much like a panel reader. If you do tag sheep on the other side, we can put the reader across from us, and now again similarly it acts like a panel reader over there. If you do have a panel reader, there is space at the back here that you can put it. And another clever thing on the EID shelf is it moves with the different sidewall heights that you choose to go with. So on the standard wall, you saw where I put it there. When this comes off and you're running the low side, again, same setup here. You just clip in. And when we're doing our small lambs, the reader is in the right place to pick up the tag. And when we're using the extra large sidewall height as well, same thing as well. There are similar bolts in place. Put your stick reader nice and close so that the tag will be picked up. Now let's look at the 3-way drafting capability on the Cotter Crate. So when I let off my sheep, I pull back the bar, they're going to fall down back to ground, and with the way the door is set up at the moment, they're going to go that way. Now I can switch this by just pulling this, and instead the animal would go straight on. So the crate itself has 2-way drafting on it. Now the piece I want to show you is the off-ramp. So the off-ramp enables this setup to become a 3-way draft machine. So we pull it up and just fit it to the crate. And now you'll see when I leave them straight on, at the moment they can go straight left, we'll call it. And if I pull it, they can go straight right. So those are our 3 options to 3-way draft sheep. Now another unique feature of the Cotter Crate is we can actually draft 4 ways. So let's think about weaning time. Weaning time will have ewes and lambs running together, and we can identify the ewes with our eyes. So what we can do is open the exit gate. We'll see when a ewe is coming up the machine, and we can just let her run straight on. And then when we meet a lamb, we can push in and catch our lamb. And at that point we can decide, for example, to have a small group of lambs, Then we can have our medium lambs coming out straight right. We can change our gate to set out straight left with our really big lambs that are fit for the factory. So there's your 4-way drafting at weaning time. The off-ramp, much like the on-ramp, is really easy to move. So 2 wheels on it, it's a very lightweight, but very robust. So we just lift it off like that. Easiest way to lift it is catch it roughly here and wheel away. It's very easy to move around. 2 handles here, and it basically moves around like a wheelbarrow. Now onto storage and maintenance. The Cotter Crate is entirely mechanical. The only power required is just to have your weigh head charged, your stick head charged, and if you are using an automatic drench gun, to have that charged as well. Now, a few power washing precautions for you. With that nozzle, be careful where you point it. Specifically, don't point it at the weigh cells that are exposed on the left and right of the unit. And also, don't use a turbo nozzle or a hot wash, as the plastic on the unit will get damaged. For maintaining the machine's operation, there's just 2 things to watch out for. The first is a slide frame. This runs on stainless steel linear rails going in and out of self-lubricating blocks. So it should be fine most of the time, but it may benefit from oil every now and then. The oil to use is specifically non-aerosol lanolin oil. A full bottle of this is supplied with the machine when you buy it, so you should never be short of it. But if you are, get in touch with us and we'll send you out a bottle. Where to lubricate the machine is in the middle of the slide frame. There are 2 dedicated lubrication points. One here on the left of the slide frame and one here on the right of the slide frame. So get your bottle, a few squirts in and a few squirts in this side. And then run the slide in a couple of times to get it running nice and smooth. And the second thing is oiling the chain. So the chain in here, this is a chain and sprocket system for putting the floor back up. And again, this chain may benefit from periodic oiling, and it should be done at the designated spot here. So pull your flap a little bit in and cycle the chain to ensure it's thoroughly lubricated. The last thing to talk about is connection points. There's loads of them all around the unit, so you can set up as many pins as required to utilise that up to 4-way drafting that's on the crate. There's connection points at the entrance of the on-ramp, the far end of the off-ramp, on each of the 4 corners of the crate, and also on the back of the crate. So that concludes this in-depth exploration of the Cotter Crate sheep handler. You're now equipped with all the knowledge to go ahead and upgrade your sheep handling facilities to make life easy for you, your family, and your farm staff. So if you have any questions or want to share your experience, please contact us by phone or email. And don't forget to like, comment, and share with your sheep farming friends.